Hi and welcome back to this week's podcast. This week is still focusing on Act 3, Scene 1. We're going to look a bit more in detail at the character of Romeo and how he is presented in this scene. So if we just think about what we already know, we know that Romeo isn't really a violent character. He's quite peaceful and he steers clear of the brawl that happens at the very beginning of the play. But in this part of the scene, we see a change in his character. So what sort of change can we see?
He becomes aggressive and violent, and he becomes a murderer, doesn't he? Because he kills Tybalt, because Tybalt has killed his best friend Mercutio.
So how does Mercutio end up being killed?
Well, I think Tybalt was trying to draw Romeo into a fight, and Romeo kept on refusing because he's now married to Juliet, so he doesn't want that drama with the Capulets. And
obviously he's not that sort of character anyway.
Yeah. And then Mercutio steps in as his best friend to sort of defend him, and that's when the brawl happens between Tybalt, which results in Mercutio being
Romeo's arm. Yeah. So accidentally killed.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine, can't you, if one of your friends was one of your best friends was killed, how would you feel?
You can relate to him because you'd feel upset, but I don't think that we would necessarily
go out and kill someone else.
Obviously in Elizabethan times, honour and loyalty towards your family or closest people would have been really important.
Well, that's why Romeo's quite a complicated character, because we don't see him showing any kind of loyalty up until this point. He doesn't show any loyalty to his own family.
He's quite a detached character, isn't he? Don't you think? He's quite like on his own until the start. He's very independent of everything else that's going on.
The other men in the play have got similar qualities, haven't they? Characteristics, whereas Romeo sort of...
So you can kind of group them together in that way, whereas he's sort of like one on his own, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Sort of challenges the typical
the stereotype.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think a modern audience then, we can feel sympathy for Romeo, can't we? Because this terrible chain of events has led to his best friend's death, then Tybalt's death, and ultimately his and Juliet's death. But what about an Elizabethan audience? How do you think that they would feel? Do you think they would feel the sympathy for Romeo that we do? I don't think that they would. I think that they would see Romeo, his death at the end of the play, as punishment, because he's so disloyal at the start of the play. Elizabethan audience would have been horrified that these two children from wealthy families disobeyed their parents in this way and married the child of their enemy. They would have seen them as being ungrateful.
Or also that his friend died because of his lack of masculinity and willing.
They would have wanted, an Elizabethan audience would have wanted to see Romeo defending his honour. They would have wanted to see him fight and see some masculinity.
Yeah, that would have. I think that would have swayed an audience. That would have kind of earned him some brownie points, if you like, with an Elizabethan audience. But he lets them down, doesn't he? Again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll leave it there for this week, and we'll see you next week for next week's podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.